Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. We're getting festive and making this super cute little curlicue candy cane. This is a fun little project, very fast to make, and I know you're gonna love it. So this candy cane can be made in just no time flat. It's just two little curlicues. We're gonna learn how to assemble it and add some extras. I added a little bow to mine and a bell, but you can add all kinds of things, and we'll talk about that later in the video. Now there's lots of ways you can get this pattern. You can join me today for the whole video tutorial today that goes through it step by step and stitch by stitch, the whole candy cane project. You can also find the free written pattern over at the blog. The link is down below for that. And I also have an ad-free PDF pattern for this over in my Etsy shop and my Ravelry shop as well. And you can also join our Patreon community where I share the month's patterns, and there's a fun little community in there as well if you want to check that out. All the links can be found down below for all the things I mentioned. Before we get started, be sure and hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel so much, and I truly appreciate it. I share videos every week. I share vlogs. I share roundups, project tutorials, stitch tutorials. So there's lots of stuff happening on the channel all the time. So if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure and click that button to get all the latest updates. Also new to the channel are channel memberships. This is a great way to get some exclusive perks, and the link is down below if you want to check that out as well. So let's get started and make this adorable curlicue candy cane. For this project, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle. A tape measure is super helpful in case you want to change up the sizing a little bit. We're going to be using some classic candy cane color yarn. This is, the yarn I'll be using is called Impeccable by Loops and Threads. I've used this for other projects this season. It's a good all-purpose yarn. It comes in tons of colors. I have white, and I have, this is called Red Hot. So it's like a bright red and like a bright white. This is kind of like one of those store brands at the craft store that you may see. But if you need to substitute yarn, look for a medium 4 on the yarn weight scale and one that recommends a 5mm H crochet hook. We're going to be using that hook for this project, okay? So you could do your candy cane in other colors too. You could do red and green, you could do pink and white, you could do all kinds of fun colors. We're going to just do classic red and white for ours. Now, the other fun part of this project is the embellishment. So we do have some embellishments here, but one other important thing before I get to the embellishments is a paper clip. So grab a paper clip. We're going to need a little piece of wire to shape our candy cane. And the easiest way to get a little piece of wire that you may have laying around is a paper clip. I have a large one here. You could use a smaller one too. It's just to give that bend that we're looking for, okay? So for our embellishments, you can really do anything you want. You can leave them off altogether and just do a classic candy cane. I'm going to put a little bow on mine. So I did grab some ribbon. This is like some shimmery holiday ribbon. And then I grabbed a bell. I'm going to do a bow with a bell in the center, but I also grabbed some other things to show you. This is some red satin ribbon if you wanted to match the candy cane colors. You could do some pom-poms, like those little glittery pom-poms would be fun. These are some little wood shapes that I have, some Christmas shapes. You could do like a bow with like a little piece of like a shape, like a little wood shape in the middle. It's totally up to you. It's a fun way to kind of use up some things that you might have. So we're going to learn how to crochet. Our candy cane is 2 curlicues, as you can see here. So we're going to learn how to crochet these curlicues, and then we're going to shape them up and then embellish them. So let's get started. Our candy cane curlicues have a starting chain of 40. So what we're going to do to begin is put a slip knot on our hook. Wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. We're going to leave a little tail here for later. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up that loop, and tighten. Then we're going to chain 40. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. So here is our starting chain, and we're going to make a curlicue. So if you've never made a curlicue, what we're going to be doing is putting lots of stitches in each of these chains, and what it's going to do is it's going to crowd it and cause it to kind of come in on itself and start to create like a spiral shape, okay? It's really, really fun if you've never made one. We're going to make it together. So what we want to do is work 3 half double crochets in the third chain from the hook to start. So this loop here does not count. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, just like that, and work 3 half double crochets into that chain. So to make a half double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into that chain, and bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through all 3 loops, and then that's 1 half double crochet. So we're going to do 2 half double crochet and 3 half double crochet, just like that. And then we're going to work 3 half double crochets in each chain all the way across, okay? So let's do a few together. So the next chain, 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochet, 3 half double crochet. Next chain, 1 half double crochet. I'm going to get a little bit more yarn here. 2 half double crochet, 3 half double crochet, just like that, all the way across. And you can see already it's starting to create that spiral look that we're after, okay? So keep working your half double crochets, 3 in each chain, all the way across. And when we rejoin, we'll finish up our curlicue and move on to assembling it. Okay, we worked all the way across. I'm just working in this last chain. So again, 3 half double crochets in each chain. 1, 2, and 3. And our curlicue is complete, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut the yarn and fasten off. Wrap the yarn around the hook and just pull it through, okay? Just like that. Now we have our curlicue, and I'm just going to back up a little bit because we're going to grab our other one. I went ahead and made the second one, and we're going to twist them together to get those stripes first, okay? So what you'll do is you're going to have tails at one end of both of them. So both your tails should be at one end of both of these, okay? So you're going to kind of match them up. See how they sort of come up to a point here? We're going to kind of lay that on top of one another. And then, holding those together, we're just going to twist them around each other, okay? So you might need to kind of play with this a little bit and just kind of get the right direction here. It's a little bit fiddly at first, but once you get going, it gets a little bit easier, okay? So we're just going to kind of, you can let that go once you get down a ways, but we're just going to kind of start wrapping these around each other. It's kind of easy to do like the white, then pick up the red, then pick up the white, then pick up the red, okay? But, you know, just go nice and slow, make sure it's every other color. Okay, so it's all twisted together and it's really starting to look like our candy cane now. Now I'm just kind of twisting these up at the bottom, and I'm going to use one of the tails to kind of tack this together, okay? So what you'll want to do is you want to take your one tail, so just kind of sew those together. All right, we're just going to weave in all of our ends here. Once that we've sewn it together, just make sure the red stays in the red, and the white stays in the white so that we can not see any tails traveling through it, okay? So we'll just take those through. Now, if you're wanted to talk a little bit about when you coil these up, if you're having a little trouble like matching them up at the end, you can always grab one color and give it a pull. And see how it's spinning a little bit, and see how now my red's longer, and you can kind of adjust them that way. So you can pull them and they kind of will line up better, okay? Another thing that I like to do is sometimes they can look a little crumpled up. You can take your whole coil, and kind of roll it, almost like dough, and it just kind of lines everything up. See how nice and lined up that looks now? Okay, so what we want to do now is just going to shape our candy cane next. And this is where that paper clip comes in handy, okay? So what we want to do is we're going to unwrap our paper clip. It doesn't have to be perfect. See, there's a little bend in it. That's okay. You're never going to see that. So we just want to open up our paper clip, and we have a nice strong piece of wire here. And again, the smaller ones work okay too. Okay, so just try to get that opened up all the way. And then what you'll want to do is figure out the top and the bottom. So do you want your candy cane to go like this, or do you want your candy cane to go like this? Okay, I kind of like this way, so I'm going to make mine go that way. Okay, so once you decide where you want the top and the bottom, then you're going to take your piece of wire and you're just going to kind of drill it down in the middle there, okay? So just go right in the middle, making sure it doesn't escape the sides. And if your piece of metal is too long, you can always trim it too. This is actually almost the whole length of mine. Okay, so then you'll just kind of bend this into the shape that you want it. One way too, if your candy cane is looking a little lumpy, you can kind of twist this all back into shape. See how it tightens it all back up? See how I'm twisting it? And it's sort of tightening it all back up, okay? You can do that as well, okay? So the next thing we want to do is get some things embellished, put a couple little drops of glue in place just to hold that wire in place. So the last part of our tutorial is we're going to make a bow. So if you have a glue gun, flip it on now, let it get warmed up, and let's make our bow while we wait for that. So cut a piece of yarn off. This is about 12 inches or so. And all we're going to do, now my ribbon is wired so I can shape it up. Wire ribbon is really nice for holiday things that you store because you can kind of fluff up your bow when you take it back out of storage, okay? Okay, so to make our ribbon, we're going to make a loop and then we're going to tie it around just like you're tying your shoes, okay? And then pull it tight. Now, obviously this looks terrible. So what we want to do is just shape it up. So usually when I make bows for things, I spend most of the time shaping up my bow. It takes quite a bit of push and pull. So we want to get those loops nice and pretty, and we also want to get these tails nice too. So you're going to spend some time pulling it from one end, making sure the loops are even, and pulling it from the other end. These we're going to cut. You don't have to worry about this being long right now. And then you can kind of tap on those loops to get them kind of fluffy looking. Now this loop's still a little bit bigger, so we just want to pull this down like that, okay? Now, I'm going to glue a bell to the center of mine, so it's going to kind of be a little bit more forgiving than just the bow. So what we want to do now is grab our hot glue gun, and what I like to do is take find your wire, and we're just going to put, this is a little trick you can do, just put a little bit of glue on the end of the wire like this, because we want it to stay put. So just put a little bit of glue, not too much, and we're just going to kind of slide the candy cane over top of that, okay? And then find the wire down at the other end. I found it down here. We're just going to put a little bit of glue down there, kind of pull it around, kind of like cover it back up, okay? Now also, you can open these two ends here and stick a little bit of glue down there at the bottom, okay? Just to kind of get it back in the right spot, okay? Again, like I mentioned before, give your candy cane a twist if it's becoming untwisted. And now everything's kind of in place more or less, okay? Now, I'm going to put a hanging loop on this. Let's do a piece of ribbon. That'll be pretty. So you can get a piece of, actually, let's do the ribbon that we used. You can get a piece of ribbon, and we're just going to wrap it around. I'm going to wrap it around the top here. And again, if you want to do a little dot of glue, that's okay. But you want to tie it so that it hangs right, okay? And then just tie the top. So let me just move this out of the way. Okay, so just tie a little piece of ribbon at the top if you want to make it into an ornament. If you want to make it into something else, or you can hook it onto a branch, feel free to do that too. Keep shaping, lots of shaping with our candy cane. And then I'm going to put a bow here. I'm just going to kind of put mine on the side here. And then cut your tails a little shorter. I like to cut mine at an angle, it makes them look a little bit more finished. And then just kind of drop your bell there. So our Crochet Curlicue candy cane is all ready to go. It looks great. It's so cute. It can be put on top of a gift, hung from a tree, either with a hanging loop or just hooked right onto a branch. And I hope you had as much fun making this as me. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again.